Do I need a building consent? My name is Bahara and I make videos to help property owners and people who work in building industry in New Zealand. In my videos, I talk about the questions that are asked frequently by my clients. I'm an architect and a draft person. So if you're looking to learn more about the process of building in New Zealand, please make sure to subscribe and click the bell button to get notified every time I release a new video. Please note that I'm only sharing my personal knowledge and experience with you. Most of my knowledge comes from government websites such as building.govt, mboi.govt, or lbp.govt. However, my videos should not be used as legal advice. Now, let's talk about building consent and when you need them. Before you start any building work, you need to work out whether you need a building consent or not. In this video, I'm only going to talk about building consent. Resource consent is another matter and I will talk about it in another video. Now here is the summary of building work that you need to get a building consent for it before you start the work. However, it's best to check with your local council to confirm as well. Number one, any structural work. It can be new build, extension, repiling, or some demolition work. Number two, any plumbing and drainage work where you're going to add any additional fixture. So some of the maintenance and repair work might be exempted from the building consent. Number three, relocating a building. Number four, installing a wood burner or an air conditioning system. Number five, retaining walls higher than 1.5 meters. This can be up to 3 meters in rural areas if it's designed by registered chartered engineers. Number six, fences and walls higher than 2.5 meters, swimming pools, and anything associated with the swimming pools. Number seven, decks, platforms, or bridges more than 1.5 meters from the ground. Number eight, sheds greater than 30 square meters in floor area. Now, what will happen if you need to get a building consent and you fail to do so? If you carry out building work that are not exempted from building consent and you don't have a building consent for it, you are breaking the law. You can get fined up to $200,000 and an extra $20,000 per day or part day if you continue the work. Your local council can also give you a notice to fix, and they might give you an instant fine of up to $1,000. They might also bring the building down if they think it's dangerous or insanitary. Now, when do you not need a building consent? Schedule 1 of Building Act lists all the building work that are exempted from building consent. There's also an easy tool on building government website, which I write the link here on the screen. So you can use this tool to find out if your building project needs a building consent or not. Please note that there is a long list of different types of building works that do not need a building consent. So I'm going to make a series of videos explaining each category. So who can carry out the building work that needs a building consent? Only licensed building practitioners are allowed to carry out the work because this is called restricted building work or RBW. There are, however, some exemptions. One of the main ones is building as owner builder, which I've made a video about this very topic, and I put a link here somewhere above here to the video. On the other hand, who can do the work that is exempted from building consent? Now, this depends on the type of project. For example, if you're doing some renovations or repairs on your bathroom and it is updating some of the plumbing, only a licensed plumber can carry out the work. On the other hand, you might want to build a cabin under 30 square meter in your backyard and it is designed using lightweight material. For this type of project, you don't need to be or use a licensed building practitioner to do the work for you. Another question is who is responsible for all these? Now, as a property owner, you're responsible for A, find out if you need a building consent or not, be, even if the building work is exempted from building consent, make sure that it still complies with the building code. Now, I know this can be very overwhelming for some people who don't have enough knowledge about the building because they simply just own a property and want to do something on their property. That's why, if in doubt, you have to go and seek advice from professionals. You can still go and apply for a building consent even if the building project that you're doing is exempted from building consent, and your local council should still process it. Why would you do that? I don't know. You might want to have updated valuation information on your property file for any future buyer. For example, you're doing a very expensive bathroom or kitchen renovation for for increasing the value of the property. So by getting a building consent for your project and getting your local council to come and inspect it and sign it off, this is all going to be recorded on your LIM report and any future buyer can see it. When you complete any exempted building work on your existing property, the end result should be in equivalent or better condition than it was before. For example, if you have an existing window and you want to replace the window by a window of the exact same size, you don't need to get a building consent. However, if your existing window is a double glazed, um, thermally broken aluminum joinery with an R value of 0.37, you cannot go and replace it with a single glazed window that has a lower R value. If you're not sure your building project is exempted from building consent or not, the best is to go and seek legal advice from someone with the expertise. This can be your local council. Now, if you have just a simple question, they don't charge for it. But if you have a series of questions, you need to get a meeting with your council and they might charge a fee for it. Or you can get advice from professionals like registered architects or any licensed building practitioner who has that type of knowledge. Now, what if your project is not exempted in the Schedule 1 of Building Act, but it's marginally different from the exemption? For example, let's say you have a half basement in your building and it has bare block walls, and you want to improve the building by adding some insulation to your block walls. Normally, to add insulation to external walls, you need to get a building consent. The reason for it is because you're taking off the lining, and then if it doesn't have any existing building paper, you need to put the building paper in the cavities and then put insulation and then add the lining, which can be plasterboard or plywood. And if the existing lining is part of the bracing system, you need to make sure that you are putting back the same amount of bracing units. Now, if you have existing block walls and you are not, it doesn't have any lining, you might get an exemption from your local council to simply put building paper over the wall, then put some timber framing and put insulation in the cavity and put any type of lining that you want to. However, it is not up to you to decide about this. You have to go and ask your council, and they might give you a discretionary exemption for your project. In case that you need to urgently do some building work and you don't have enough time to apply and get a building consent, for example, a flood happens to your property or a storm happens and it blows half of the roof off and you cannot wait to do the repair work, you can still do the building work and then go and apply for a certificate of acceptance from your council. However, it is best in the case of something like this happens, it's best to go and talk with your city council first to make sure. And finally, if you want to, you can still provide information to your local council about any building work that you've done under exemption. For example, if you've done a bathroom renovation, you can provide them with the drawing specification and photos so they can record it on your property file or LIM report. so any future buyer can see it recorded by a local council, and it will avoid any confusion. Please note that the council might charge a fee for doing such services. Now, what is a list of building work that is exempted from building consent? As I mentioned earlier, this is a long list of different categories of building work, and I'm going to make a series of videos about each type of building work that is exempted. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any question about the topic of this video, make sure to drop a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.